Hello, respected viewers. Peace and blessings unto you. Ramadan is on, and in the Muslim countries, honoring or dishonoring the Ramadan might be a hot issue, as it always is. In other countries, what is done is the restaurants all day have huge, thick curtains over them so that no one is visible eating inside. But in the more hardened Islamic countries, especially in the Middle East, things are far worse, much more difficult. I recall a story of 1976. We were there, I was there with my staff in Yemen, Sana'a, with preventive care management in the area. So what we saw was outside the Jamia Masjid, the Friday Masjid, there were 12 Sikhs in police custody. Their crime? According to the police chief, they were caught red-handed eating in their truck at lunchtime. Oh, okay. The police had taken them to the court where they had a blind qadi, meaning the judge, and he issued a decree that all of them must receive 45 hard lashes. They kept yelling that they were not Muslims, but the problem was the Sikhs did not know Arabic, and the police and the judge did not know any English or Punjabi. Whatever. They had been brought outside the masjid for 45 lashes, hard ones, immediately after the Friday prayers. We could notice the dilemma right away. We knew that when they were saying they were not Muslims, they really were not. They were Sikhs. I doubt even today if the Arabs can make the distinction between a Sikh and a Muslim, because they wear a big beard, although it is well groomed with a special kind of net, and they wear a turban. So they are mistaken for Muslims, especially in the Middle East. This was so especially in the 1970s, but I am sure this goes on even today. So their shirts had been removed, and the sergeant who would deliver those lashes was absolutely set up. He was quite ready. I told the police chief to hold on for a few moments. He argued with me, well, they are Muslims. I said, no, they are not. Sikhs around the world, they dress like this. But then he made another excuse. If they are not Muslims, doctor, then why do they dress and look like Muslims? That is their fault. All right. And thirdly, their biggest crime was that they were caught red-handed eating lunch in their truck. So they were dishonoring Ramadan, and finally the qadi, the judge, had issued the decree. So there was nothing for the police but to carry out the command. I was in a high-ranking uniform, fortunately, so I told the police chief to hold on for a short while. The court was nearby, and I sent my Palestinian nurses to explain the issue to the judge. He explained that the Sikhs were not Muslims, and that they were eating in the truck their lunch. The Qadi understood the point, but he did not repeal the punishment completely. He said, okay, let it be 5 light whips, light lashes, and not 45 hard ones. Well, he wrote the command through his clerk. The nurses came back, gave it to the police chief, and the poor Sikhs, they did receive 5 whips each. There was a big crowd of spectators, as always is the case in such situations in the Arab countries. What about the humiliation that they had undergone? I also think that even in countries like Pakistan, Iran, and moderate countries like Indonesia, you name them, apart from Middle East, Afghanistan, well, that is too Talibanized even today. But think of any Muslim-dominated society, you will find the restaurants closed all through the day. If you go to Surah Baqarah, verses 183 to 185, things become very clear. The Qur'an makes it very obvious that the Sikh and the traveler are not supposed to fast. So is the case with indisposed women or pregnant women. And how about non-Muslims who are not required to follow the religious laws of a Muslim country? So when the punishment was over, the Sikhs came to me and they asked me a very funny question. Sikhs are wrongly thought of as having some less intelligence, like Irishmen in many areas in Europe are considered to be. So they said, Dr. Sahab, Sikh ਅਸੀਂ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਲੋਕ Sikh ਨੇ. You tell me, are we Sikhs or are they? Now, dishonoring Ramadan will not appear anywhere in the Qur'an. It makes no sense. Nothing can dishonor the Ramadan. I meant Ramadan, the whole month. But you will find people, anyone who eats before a fasting person is dishonoring Ramadan and inviting hell. How many areas are there where we Muslims need to make reformation? May God help us. I pray, but at the same time, I question myself. Why should God help us? Do we deserve it? May Allah increase us in knowledge. You might like to look at our beacon.com, Dr. Shabir's blog, for similar stories like this. They are very enjoyable and they have a bit of knowledge. Yes. Thank you.